Library. I want to talk about the library because it was specifically listed as something that we intend to consider outsourcing. So at what stage, you know, if this budget says we're looking into it, at what stage would we engage the public in that, and how would it affect our budget?
I think we've kept council up to date. Right now, the current stage of that is we've had several meetings with LSS, which is the company that provides that. We had a staff level meeting for about 4 or 5 hours, questions and answers, and exchanged information. We've asked LSS to give us some fixed numbers so that we can actually, Cheryl's department will do some costing on that. We're in the process of setting up a meeting where LSS can make a presentation to the Library Board of Trustees and give them a question and answer period. We're thinking about doing some tours, and then only after we gather all that information, we'll come back to the council, probably in a public setting, and present our findings if it's viable. If there's no cost savings, staff probably will not recommend moving forward. There don't seem to be any customer service issues so far. I guess my point is that's a task that's underway, that it's impossible to say at this point whether or not it will actually occur or not. So it certainly would, I think it'd be irresponsible to adopt a budget that assumes it either will or won't.
I'm glad to hear you say that. As part of all of these research projects or research activities you're doing to determine if this is a smart move or not, I would encourage us to allow some public input, some public feedback. If we're going on a tour, presumably we'll take a bus or a shuttle of some sort. We have in the past, I don't know if you were here, I was here, of course you were here. We've done a shuttle tour of the city to look at facilities for potential improvements, and we did invite the public to participate up to the capacity of the vehicle that we were all in. So something like that. So here's what I'm concerned with. The library, like the police department, like the fire department, has a unique following, and a lot of community value is placed in that service. And so if we're having a discussion about outsourcing that function, I think it's critical that we allow the public to participate in this process with us, not just tell them the answer of our findings at the end. And that's not maybe a budget question. I just want to impart that because... I
understand that, but to some extent, Councilmember Diaz, you have to let staff do their job. And right now on the library outsourcing, my biggest concern is that folks seem to think we're going to do that when we haven't even determined if it will save us any money yet. And I, frankly, the way I do my job, I'm not going to get people all riled up if we don't save any money on it. So the first thing I've got to have the finance department do is, well, first of all, we have to know what the proposal is, what does it look like. Then we have to determine if we're going to save any money. And if we're not going to save any money, there's no point in arranging bus tours. Well,
you said we were going
I have a very methodical process, and it'll be presented to the council for a policy decision if it makes sense. And other than that, my direction from the council is to explore things that save money and make sense financially. So that's the threshold question.
No, I understand that direction. That I've heard that direction, but it's also maybe a request on my part that when we consider outsourcing of something that is cherished in our community, it's not about not letting you do your job or having somebody else tell you. It's that we will alarm people if we don't let them participate. That you don't have to do anything I say. It's a suggestion. I think it's a valid one and a valuable one. And quite frankly, I think it would earn us a lot more support if in fact there is a cost saving. People would have come along with us to validate that, and there wouldn't be the suspicion of government. So moving on.